What's up, guys? So today I'm on the way to a photo shoot for a small registry down in London, but basically today's gonna be the first. It's really bright, my gosh. Today's gonna be the first time I'm not filming, sorry. It's in my bag right now, but today I'm basically gonna be giving the EOS R6 its first real life test run. So I got myself an R6 over Black Friday. Amazing deal. You know, couldn't pass up the opportunity. I've been wanting to upgrade on the video part. I mean, I'm super happy with the EOS R as it is right now. But I really think that for some of the work that I've been doing professionally, I think the R6 would be definitely a better option. So I picked one of those up. Well, I'm gonna go this way. Picked one of those up, and so I want to see how it works in real life. Like, I love the quality of pictures on the EOS R. 30 megapixel camera, sorry, the 30 megapixel sensor is fantastic. So with the EOS R6, it's got a 20 megapixel Digic X sensor, and I just want to see what the differences are. Like, I want to put it to use in a real world scenario. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And it's freezing cold. You can hear the wind. Oh my god, it's actually freezing cold, and it's sunny at the same time. In London, that's not the best combination. I'm gonna put my hood up and get to the station because it's cold. So I'm just waiting for the bus now, but what I wanted to say was the second reason that I wanted to get the EOS R6 or just another camera was to have two camera bodies. I have the Canon M50, but I think for professional work, it's just not enough for what I'm looking for. Like, it's great quality camera, but when I'm using it, it's not as user-friendly as I would want it to be. So having that second camera body on you for photos or video, for whatever, it's really, really handy. That way, with video work, I can have one camera on the gimbal and the other one be handheld or on a tripod or for everything else, and I don't have to keep swapping between taking it on and off the gimbal, rebalancing and all of that. So it's just really handy to have two camera bodies when you're out doing professional work. I think personally for me, you can do it with one, and I have been doing it with one for the longest time, but it's just handy, and I've just been wanting that second camera body, and perfect opportunity to get it. So today we're just going to go now and test and see how good the quality is on this R6, how nice it is to use. I know the EOS R like the back of my hand right now. Is it going to be the same, or is it going to be more difficult to use the R6? You know, just a review of how it feels in a real world situation, and is it good enough? Like, for video, for photo, is it good enough to use? Like, it is a step down from the R5, but it's a step up from the R. So I'm hoping it's going to be good enough. I'm hoping the quality is going to be amazing enough that I can continue to use it as one of my professional cameras, you know, without a doubt. But yeah, so we're just gonna, bus is probably just almost here, so I'm gonna get going because my arm is really, really hurting holding this thing up. Okay, so I've arrived at the registry office. I'm walking up. I'm gonna go in there, get set up, take some establishing shots, and then get going with it. And then I'll see you back in the studio, maybe. I might see if I can record some of me actually doing the photography, but let's see. Otherwise, see you back in the studio. So I completed the photo shoot very successfully using this bad boy, the Canon EOS R6. I don't know if the focus is yet. There you go. That's the R6. I've got my little Ulanzi plate at the bottom, which I use for pretty much all my devices. But if it focuses back on my face, that'd be nice. Yes, but I did the entire photo shoot with this bad boy, and I have to say I am so impressed. Having used the Canon EOS R for so long for all my professional work, for all my content creation, using a new camera a newer camera, I was a little scared at first. I just didn't know how well it would perform, because one thing that I want to mention here is I was using it for photography. In this case, for this photo shoot, it was purely photography. There was no video aspects to it, and the EOS R is fantastic for photography. It's got a 30.3 megapixel sensor. It is a Digic 8 sensor versus a Digic X, so the sensor on this thing is essentially better, but this is like a 20 megapixel sensor, 20 point something megapixel sensor. Again, I don't remember the specs off the top of my head. I'll have it down here somewhere. So it is a 20 megapixel sensor, and I was just a little bit worried about how it would perform in terms of kind of like professional photography. I have taken it out to do some kind of nighttime photography, low light photography, cityscape photography, you know, just street photography with it. And I love the quality that it brought out from that, you know, in low light situations. It's really, really good. I think the Digic X sensor, the Digic X processor, which is the same as what the 1DX Mark III cameras have, it's phenomenal. It's really, really good. It performs really well, but I just didn't know how it would perform in a demanding situation like an actual photo shoot for a wedding or a registry, which is what I was at. But I have to say, I'm super happy with what it produced. The quality of the pictures was amazing, and the performance of this thing was fantastic. Again, it has a really good ergonomic feel. It doesn't feel very different to the EOS R. I do like a little bit how the EOS R grips. The grip on this side, the top part of this grip here, is a little bit thinner, so my finger does fit a bit nicer around the EOS R. However, it's not the end of the world. I mean, this is a little bit chunkier to grip, and it feels really good. And the fact that there's no dial, you know, there's no touch dial here, touch sensor, touchpad, whatever it is that the EOS R has here. Instead, it's got a little toggle, a joystick. Is a lot more handy, because sometimes I do press the touch dial by mistake on the EOS R, and it kind of changes the setting, and it gets really annoying. Sometimes I completely keep it off because it's useless for the most part. And but here I didn't have that problem. Do I miss the top screen? A little bit, just because I did find it nice and easy to kind of switch the modes, and the kind of variety of modes that it has was better. Having the classic kind of toggle dial up here for all the modes is really good. But yeah, in terms of all the good stuff, let's start with all the good stuff. Nice to hold, nice to use. It performed really fast. There were some parts of the day where I did need to take a lot of photos like very quickly. This did the job, you know, paired with all of my lenses. It works perfectly well with all of my lenses. I've got, you know, the Canon RF mount with the what's it called? The control ring mount. I've got the control ring mount. So I've got that popped onto here, using it with the 70-200, the 24-105, which is pretty much what I keep on 99% of the time whenever I do these kind of photo shoots, because it just works for everything for me. It's got such a good range. And then I've got the 50mm as well, which is an RF. So all my lenses work perfectly well with this. And throughout the day, I didn't find any issues. In terms of battery life, it was fantastic as well. I actually went through the whole day with just the one battery, because I was just doing photography, and I took over 1,500 photos. It lasted the entire day with just a single battery, and I was super stoked. I was really happy. The camera itself has some really good kind of features, functional features about it. One thing I did like was that you've got the turn dial here. I don't know what it's called. Yes, the turn dial here, which you can use and set to change the settings. I usually have my top dial here as the shutter speed, and then the front dial up here as my aperture, and then for the EOS R, I generally have to either go to function and then switch my ISO, or I use the control ring. But for this, I can set this dial here, face dial here, as ISO, and it was so much more easier for me to change ISO, because I did need to quite a lot, because I was I was shooting quite a lot in low light situations because it was indoors, and I did have to adjust the ISO quite often, and that was really handy to have. Everything else worked as it should. Having the 2 memory cards was also a dream, because I was reassured that any photo I took was backed up twice, and that if I did by any chance get one card corrupted, the other one would have that backup. Not that I've ever had that issue with the EOS R personally, but I know others who have, and it is a little bit of a risk factor, especially when you're doing professional grade work or paid work. You don't want to lose your photos. You don't want your photos to get corrupted. The speed of this thing was fantastic. You know, it's got that 20 FPS digital shutter speed, and I think the 12 FPS standard shutter. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll put it down here again. It is a fantastic camera to use. Now, what I mentioned before was I did use this for photography. Now, so the main reason I bought this was to replace my EOS R for all my video work, because the EOS R6 as a camera for video is absolutely phenomenal. It has Canon log 3, which is really good, super high quality, increased dynamic range in comparison to the Canon log 2. It's got enhanced autofocus. It's got that inbuilt in-body stabilization, which is fantastic. So it's basically a baby version of the R5. It doesn't film in as high a resolution and frame rate as the R5 does, but it does go up to 1080 120, and it does film in 4K up to 4K 60, which is more than enough because it's oversampled 4K 60. I think sampled down from 6K or something like that. The video quality on this thing is fantastic, and that's my main reason why I wanted it. I needed a secondary camera body, which was a full frame body, and it was either going for another EOS R or just getting an upgrade as an R6. So now I have this for majority of my video work with the R as my backup camera, and I'm super happy. Like, I think the R6 is an absolute fantastic camera. I'm still yet to do extensive kind of use of this, or make extensive use of this in terms of video, but in terms of photography I was really happy. Will this replace my EOS R for my photography camera? I highly doubt it, just because I'm so comfortable using the R as a photography camera, and the higher megapixel count does mean that I can get slightly higher quality prints. But this thing does perform good. If you're looking to get a hybrid camera for video and photo, and you just want the single camera, and you're looking for something in the higher price range, then the R6 is definitely still a fantastic choice. Like, it performed phenomenally. The photos came out crisp. The photos were, you know, in focus, crisp, really high quality, and I'm super happy about it. There are one or two issues that I have about this. One of the things is the custom modes on this. So you've got the C1, C2 and C3 custom modes, options at the dial at the top. However, you can only set them to photo options, which is really annoying, because for the EOS R you have the option of having custom modes for both photos, or for photography, still photography, and for video. So you can set up to 3 custom modes each for photo and video, which is amazing, because sometimes I just set one of the custom options as my, you know, slow-mo for 4K, you know, 1080 60 is what I usually have it set to. 1080 60, have the shutter speed, aperture, everything kind of set how I want it to, and then I've got the other one at 1080 24, and I've got the middle one kind of to use for in between, or I just kind of swap into manual mode. And then for photography, I have one for portrait photography, and then I have settings for kind of landscape photography, street photography, and then one in between. I have that nice range of modes that I can easily toggle into and just carry on using. However, for this, the modes are only for photo, and that's really annoying for me, because I have to manually go in, change the settings if I want to capture something in slow-mo, waste time, change the settings, go into slow motion mode, you know, go into high frame rate mode, 120 fps, 60 fps, whatever I'm filming in, and then film it, change all my shutter speed and settings, and then go back if I'm like vlogging or using it for whatever. That is a little bit of an issue for me. Do I think it's gonna affect me massively? It really depends on what I use it for. If I'm vlogging and I want to capture slow-mo, then yes, that's definitely a hindrance. But if I'm using it for just, it's going to be used as my primary camera and I'm going to be keeping it in the same mode, then obviously not. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short because I don't want to kind of blab on. This isn't an extensive review. It's just my first impressions on using the EOS R6, and so far I really love it. I really think this is a fantastic camera. And you know, if you're not looking to get something as crazy as an R5 or even an R3, but you still want to get something that's slightly better than the EOS R, and you want to stick to Canon, then the R6 is definitely a fantastic choice for filmmaking, for photography, for videography, for whatever you want to use it for. It's a really good camera. So going into 2022, I really think this is still going to be one of the best Canon cameras for kind of mid-level content creators to get hold of. That might change later on with new releases or whatever, but right now, it's the end of 2021, going into 2022, I think this is a fantastic camera. You know, from my first impressions and my user experience using it for a real-life photo shoot, I think photography-wise, it's fantastic. I'm pretty sure video-wise, it's really good as well. So I'm just literally going to leave it at that, because there's nothing more to say until I've done more of an extensive review. When I do, I'll come back and I'll give you my feedback. Until then, guys, make sure you guys have subscribed to my channel. About 97% of you aren't, which is worrying for me, because I try and make this content for you guys, and I'd love for more of you to subscribe so you know exactly when my content comes out. show the love, guys. I really love that you watch my videos, and I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. If you are, then make sure you hit that like button, and if you do want to know exactly when my videos come out, then hit that notification bell. Until next time, until the next video, this is Kai24 signing out.